So they had an airport. It was demolished in 2004. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the Gaza airport was one of the marks of hope for a Palestinian state to be created. So the fact that it was demolished tells you about the intentions of the fascist state of Israel and their genocidal plans. So this is called At the Gaza Airport, and it's sort of like a futuristic vision using my imagination of what it would be if I was a young woman living in a free Palestine where Gaza has an airport. At the Gaza airport. At the Gaza airport, I took a plane. At the Gaza airport, I took a plane to Cairo to come see you. It had been a year and a half since I first slid into your DMs, after which we texted nauseatingly. Long distance was never really my thing, you know, but you captivated me instantly with how easy it was for me to tell you all the things I had never said before, as though you already knew what had happened, without me needing to say anything at all, and still you would pause to listen, and I would go on to tell and tell and tell and tell, not to explain myself or try to be understood, but just to release. And even though you hadn't formally confessed your eternal love for me yet, it was a still night, and the pigeons in my Cedo's backyard were finally silent when I suddenly was struck with this urge to come see you, because I needed to know what you look like standing up, and where your hands hang when you walk, and where do they sit when you are angry, and whether your lips stutter when you speak up, and where do your hips align when you are tired, and when are you caring and for whom, and how are you honest, and when are you afraid, and when are you silent. And it was my first time hooking up like this online, but it wouldn't be my first time being so daring. After all, I am known to come from a line of freedom fighters. And I won't pretend that I liked your family when we first met, but I will pretend that I did not reach into my past and extend you into my future like tentacles piercing out of my body, borrowing winding pathways into the rest of our relationship. And within a couple of months of my visit to Cairo, our wedding date was set. And your parents took a plane from Cairo to Gaza City to officially ask for my hand in marriage. And we all rejoiced over the fate of a love story born out of the shared destinies of our two cities, Cairo and Gaza. And the wedding was a modest affair. Every relative we knew and did not know was invited by word of mouth. And everyone across the Mediterranean, between our two cities, gathered in Gaza with ease. And there were no checkpoints, or permits, or occupation, or some impossible, heart-shattering circumstance to overcome. Everyone was safe and found. Everyone was safe and found. And abundance overflowed from every set of palms, always adorned with something gold and profound. And there was joys and dove and white gauze made into lace, embellishing me as the bride. And we spent our honeymoon in Jerusalem and prayed in Al-Aqsa Mosque every salah that we were there, without any intrusions, our limbs flinging free, gracing every corner and edge, our feet casting into carpet swirls of gold, red, and green. And there were no gun-strapped teenage soldiers of war, and no fascist settlers terrorizing the atmosphere, and no child being arrested, and no woman being beaten or dragged by her hijab. And children were children, whole and complete, staying all together, breaking bread, Qudsi Ka'ak with Simsim and Za'atar on top, and no incredible injustice tearing them apart, or some horrific violence forcing their unchilding, never their skins turning gray, now or ever, ever again. And after Al-Aqsa, we visited Haifa, and Yafa, and Safad, and Nazareth, and all the land that was returned. And joy accumulated to expand out of our ribs, and we all lavished in blue sapphire skies and laughter, in blue sapphire skies and laughter. And at first, we fought over everything, because we were both fiery and principled. Yet over time, we learned to humble ourselves and one another, and I wanted to soften up for you. And by extension, everything that softened you. And eventually, your mother came to prefer the way I cooked my mlukhiyya. And I came to glow in Cairo. And we built a life for ourselves between Gaza and Cairo. Yes, Gaza and Cairo. And there were no north or south. And no grid-killing machine ruling over our life and death. And no one would have to contemplate death, massacres, or genocide. And Rafah would not be a chokehold for mass murder, and people won't be shot lining up for a sip of water. And we would have children, many of them, and never have to worry about their limbs, or their faces, or their brains, and how long they will have to live, and whether growing up in a siege will ever be normal, or if they will outlive the fate of a martyr, or that of a friend, or a cousin, or a sibling, and how many massacres make a genocide, and the air won't be hard to breathe, and the air won't be blowing babies' heads off of their shoulders, and the air won't be turning nuclear orange tens of billions of dollars over, and the air won't be hard to breathe. No, it won't be hard to breathe. Thank you.